Hello and thanks for joining me for another beer review. So today we're going to taking a trip down memory lane and from the Stone Brewing Company out of California. This is their Ruination IPA. So it's a West Coast style IPA, 8.2% ABV, so a double West Coast IPA. So these were probably one of the first kind of true West Coast beers I'd ever had. I'm not sure exactly when, about 2015, probably before that I've had this before, but yeah, I had it on draft. I've never had it in a can before. I've already actually poured the beer. So these guys are out of California and Richmond, Virginia. So I've got two premises. So I had this pre-buyout, so there's probably loads of people shouting at the screen, "Oh, Stone, they've been bought out." But the only reason I went for this, I saw it at my local the Bottleneck in Broadstairs, and I thought, what a great beer to, try again, see what it's all about. I remember saying about this was one of the best beers that I've ever had. It had half a finger of Whitehead that's dissipated. It's a nice kind of orangey in colour. It's got that old school orangey kind of look to it, which I like in a West Coast, marmaladey, almost like orange jam-like kind of look to it. So let's give it a swirl and a sniff then. I've had a look on the can. There's no kind of hint of what hops are in this. I'm sure you can find out if you really wanted to online. Let's get a nose on it. It's been out of the fridge about 10 minutes. Yeah, I am getting that kind of nice kind of orangey kind of marmalade rind to it. Slightly sweet. It's got that kind of fruit bowl. It's what I like in a West Coast IPA, if I'm being totally honest. It's got that colour as well. It's got a bit of clarity. None of this kind of haziness, West Coast modern day stuff. This is the real deal. Yeah, it's just got a lot of kind of sweet notes from the hops. Let's go on a taste. Cheers. Wow, it's got that real sweetness right front. Jam-like. Kind of an apricot jam going on there at first, and then it quickly turns into that real kind of like marmalade sweet kind of vibe, and then turns into this bitter, real rasping bitterness. Does it give you any information at all about all this sort of stuff? They used to be really informative about stuff when it comes to it talks a lot about the beer and legacy and blah 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 blah. It's definitely an old school West Coast IPA. The brewing might not be to everyone's liking these days, which is fine, but this beer is fantastic. It doesn't give you any hint of IBUs anywhere. Actually, on Untapped, it says 100 IBUs. So this is definitely one of them rasping beers that really does give you a kick if you don't like that building up and a bitterness on the palate. Yeah, I would imagine there'd be a lot of people, if you got into craft beer during the hazy kind of boom, if you like, going back to something like this, you might not like it. For me, this is what IPAs are all about. We've got too many breweries that still kind of do this old school West Coast sort of thing, and fortunately Stone are still doing it. Well, they've started last year to rebrew it. So 2002 they first brewed this beer, and then they stopped for whatever reasons. Fortunately they brought it back last year. This was actually canned this year, I believe, in January. 17th of January, this was canned of 2024. They've given it a whole year shelf life, so we're we're 5 months in. You know what? In a can, I can deal with that. It's just annoying they don't show you what hops are involved in this. Left, I have to read through it vigorously. Doesn't show it on Untapped. I'd imagine it's the old school Big C's. I would imagine Centennial, Chinook, possibly Amarillo. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, wow. Not going to be for everyone's liking because of the whole buyout, not being independent anymore. But that doesn't bother me as long as the beers kind of stay the same. And I've not really had too many of their beers to actually notice any kind of change. It's been too long a gap. Is this the best beer I've ever had? Not really, not now, but my palate's changed, no doubt. Didn't have that wow factor back then. Has this beer changed? It's such a long time ago. I'm talking almost 10 years ago since I had this beer. But as drinking West Coast this year, this is probably one of the better ones I've had. This is definitely one of them old school types. It's tasty. It was about £5 a can at the Bottleneck in Broadstairs, if you're local. So that's where this is. I think they did bring out a 2.0 version back in the day, and it wasn't quite as good as what I remember as this beer was. Although they used to have like bombers of this beer in the big 16-ounce bottles back then. I only had it on draft, but yeah. Either way, this is still very nice. This beer I'm drinking right now. So yeah, if you're not too put off by they're not independent anymore, etc., or if you've got a grudge or whatever, if you're not bothered by all that, then go out and give it a try. See what you think. Let me know down in the chat. I think this is fantastic. Looking the part. It's got a nice orangey colour to it. And yeah, let me know. What do you think? Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one. So this is a 2024 edition of Stone Ruination IPA. Thanks for watching then, and I'll see you on the next review. Cheers.